First of 4 meetings between the Lightning and the Leafs this season as we have a look at our starting goaltenders delivered by Papa John's Pizza.
Well, you see the numbers for both Bishop and Bernier. Bernier still pretty decent save percentage. He had a tremendous save percentage all last year. John Cooper behind the bench for the Lightning. And the much beleaguered Randy Carlyle behind the bench for the Leafs.
Mark Joannette will handle the opening faceoff. He and Dean Morton are the referees. Tony Sarakoto, Tim Nowak, the linesman. We're set to go. Steven Stamkos facing off against Tyler Bozak. And the Lightning get control with Stamkos centering for Valtteri Filppula and Ryan Callahan. And on defense, it's Anton Strawman and Matt Carl. Callahan in that corner, checked by Dion Phaneuf. Strawman locates Stamkos. Gets it to Filppula, shooting a pad save by Bernier. Boy, Filppula ready to fire right off that pass, and Bernier kicked it out.
Yeah, they're really kind of weird because all the Leafs were all over in that one corner, and looking at Stamkos, and he really had a wide open chance.
Filppula looking for that puck. He's bumped there by Peter Holland. It's played back to Strawman as he and Carl remain on the ice here in this opening minute of play. Certainly want to welcome the Lightning fans looking on at the Guy Harvey Outpost at Tradewinds Island Resort at St. Pete Beach. Looking in tonight, understand it's a little chilly on the beach, but you're watching hockey, and it's nowhere near as cold as it's been in Toronto the last couple of days. So enjoy the action. There's a pass ahead for Holland. 3-on-1 for Toronto. Holland, the pass in front, and it's by the stick of Roman Polak, the defenseman who came in there to round out that group. What a chance early on for the Leafs. Polak with a pass, trying to connect there with Daniel Winnick. And Winnick got there ahead of Brewer to the spot, so there's no icing. They score! David Clarkson fires it home. Leafs open the scoring at 1:29.
That's what we talk about. When you come back in the zone, you got to come back with a purpose. Watch now when they beat back they get the play, but we got everybody back, but nobody picks up Clarkson coming in until it's too late. Look to see where he is. You got to get to him earlier than that. Clarkson comes in, one times the puck, and the Leafs very quickly take the early lead.
Clarkson's 6th goal, and this is their 20th game. He had 5 goals, and his season last year marred by a 10-game suspension, as well as missing a significant time with an elbow injury. Lightning gets set up in the Leaf zone. Andre Schuster's shot. Reach. Bernier stayed with it. Covers it up. Tyler Johnson dumped right at the side of the net.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's keys, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And face-offs. They got to be really strong. They weren't very good against the Islanders. If you want to be a puck possession team, you got to be up over 50%. And you must be a much more alert team than they were against the Islanders. They got to really be able to look at, be a little bit sharper mentally.
Clarkson 6th from Winnick, and Polak at 129. Polak a defensive defenseman, but we saw him up just moments before the goal on a 3-on-1, just missing on a goal mouth pass, and he made the long feed that Winnick won the race and negated the icing and set up the goal. We now get an icing called against the Leafs as we look at the players not in action tonight.
Well, you see right now Victor Hedman, who was out passing the puck and shooting wrist shots this morning in the morning skate. Barberio, Paquette, Brown, Lupo, Hurt, Booth, and of course all those 3 players for the Leafs are on the injured list.
Booth the closest in coming back. Cedric Paquette, of course, injured in the first period of the Islander game. Pass to Steven Stamkos, leans in, engages Phaneuf. His pass across, played away by Franson. And Paquette is listed as day-to-day with a lower body injury. He did take the morning skate. Filppula. Matt Carl rips that pass across. Callahan shooting, and a stick save by Bernier. And the rebound deflected into the netting.
Right now, we talked about that. I see Phaneuf trying to get something started with Callahan. Talked with Alex Killorn in the pregame show, Rick, and he talked about that. They knew that Toronto would probably try and come out and go to the body early to try and intimidate them. But they've been a different team this year. They're really actually average less penalties in a game than the Lightning. 9.4 penalties a game. Lightning are at 10 even.
Face-off controlled by Bozak, one of the better face-off men in the league at just under 57% of the season. He had that pass just escape his reach. And icing once again the call against Toronto.
There's 3 times now where the Lightning haven't been aware of that. You know, one thing about Toronto, they do have pretty good speed, on the forward line. So if they can start hitting those stretch passes, they got to make sure they're a little bit more aware of that.
Lightning open the scoring on the island. And it's rare for them to lose a game when they score first. In fact, they've been a very good first period team, outscoring their opposition 24-12. So not only scoring a lot of goals, giving up very few and doubling them up in the first 20 minutes. But they're trailing here 1-0 on the goal by Clarkson. Callahan. And Phaneuf staying right with him. On the cycle, Stamkos with it. Going to duck inside on Phil Kessel. He got it loose to center. Franson playing it ahead, grabbed by Kessel, knocked down. Franson had it worked away by Stamkos. Another close call in that Lightning zone. Kessel's got the puck, looks to fire, does a save by Ben Bishop. Bozak. Pass cut off by Strawman. He'll use the boards to get it out. Lightning will change. Pass through the middle, deflected away by Brett Conley. Conley injured in that game in Winnipeg back in October, missing 12 games with a lower body injury, and he's been anxious to return and makes his return tonight. Of course, he spends a lot of his offseason here in Toronto. Bishop out to play that puck. He'll throw it back to Conley. And as John Cooper said this morning, he said Brett Conley was playing the best hockey of his young NHL career at the time he was hurt, so it was very unfortunate as he and J.T. Brown both went down in that game in Winnipeg on the 5-game trip. Radko Gudas pinching in. Works against Richard Panik, number 18 for the Leafs now. Pass out for Levo. Josh Levo with a pass. It's by Trevor Smith, another former member of the Lightning. And picked up by Smith, trying to get it in front. It's covered by Bishop, and he'll get the whistle.
One of the things, you know, you've taken a flip. Watch this play here. These are the things that you got to watch out. Toronto, with those turnovers, you've got to make sure. There you see him, Steven Stamkos really do the splits. And Tommy Mulligan was talking, the head trainer for the Lightning, was talking to Stamkos over on the bench there. But
it's like his left leg started to fold under him.
Yeah.
Vlad Nemestikov out against Peter Holland on this faceoff. Puck loose in the circle, and out comes Jonathan Drouin to center. He'll push it to the corner. A wall of Leafs held him off there. Roman Polak, he's kind of a wall all by himself at 236 pounds. Nemestikov. Nice stick handling moves to get out of traffic. Hangs onto it. Tried to turn on Jake Gardiner. Hangs on to the puck. Backed up by Andre Schuster. Another youngster who's been performing well. We talked about Nemestikov and Paquette and Drouin and Lightning Live pregame tonight. As you've been tracking some numbers, Chief, on how well they've been playing as they've been put in more and more important situations.
Yeah, they're plus minus. And I know, you know, we talked about that, Rick. That's not the end all, but it gives you a good indication of just how well they're playing away from the puck. Last 7 games, Drouin a +3, Nemestikov a +5 along with Paquette. So the young guys are learning how to play away from the puck a lot better.
Tyler Johnson comes up with a puck. Andre Palat's pass deflected away by Leo Komarov, and it's chopped behind the net by Eric Brewer. Brewer paired with Radko Gudas. Nikita Kucherov forces the turnover. Phaneuf with a check. Knocked free. Komarov trying to hand it off to Morgan Riley, and away comes Mike Santorelli to center. He'll place that puck in the corner. Bishop able to get a stick on it. Santorelli with Vancouver last year, signed as a free agent by the Leafs. He's still got the puck. Chased by Gudas. Played to the point. Morgan Riley sizes up a shot. He missed the net, as well as Komarov's stick as he was coming by the slot. And Palat has it for the Lightning. Well, you would expect the Leafs to come out with a sharp start, Chief, and they certainly have done that.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, that goal has really given them some confidence. And You know, they have good speed, and even Randy Carlyle, their coach, says that when they're playing at their best, they're really skating. And so far, they're starting to do that here in the early part of this first period.
After losing to Buffalo, giving up 6 goals, and then they lose 9-2 here against Nashville, falling behind 8-0 in the third period of that game. Callahan with a puck. Turns and fires, blocked by Cody Franson. Stamkos flies it back down the boards. Bozak all over Callahan. Filppula comes by for it. He's trying to lose Cody Franson. Filppula's time to regather in the puck. Back to Matt Carl, wristing it. Franson blocked it. They chase for the puck, and Van Riemsdyk gets it out to center. Callahan at the end of a shift will dump it in. Sometimes, I guess, Chief, when you're the visiting team, you have to kind of withstand the early flurry or take a few punches from the other guy.
You do. The first 10 minutes, obviously, of the home team, and you know, and especially as you pointed out, Rick, they had 2 embarrassing losses. They wanted to come out and really try and set the tone for the game.
Conley in that corner meets up with Pulock. 6 years a member of the St. Louis Blues. Came in a trade for Carl Gunnarsson. He walks away with a puck. Pass out for Panik. Schuster got it off his stick. It rolls to Josh Leivo. Bishop leaving it. Now Boyle has to get to it. He knocked down Panik as Bishop had left that puck for Schuster, and they got their signals crossed. Pulock kept the play alive, bought a little time. Jason Garrison passes out for Alex Killorn, who has scored in back-to-back games. Panik turning around with Leivo. He steps around Schuster. Avoids the hit. Hands it off to Panik. Richard picked up off waivers by the Leafs back in October the 9th. He has 3 goals in a Toronto uniform. He's checked here by Killorn. Brewer takes over. Away comes Drouin. 1-on-3. Lightning changing. He'll chase the play. Takes on both Morgan Rielly and the veteran defenseman Stefan Robida, one of 3 free agent acquisitions made by Dave Nonis and the Leafs in the offseason. The shot by Rielly tipped out of play by Radko Gudas. 11:31 remaining in this opening period. The goal by Clarkson has the Leafs in front.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's GMC big matchup, and you're looking at Steven Stamkos and what he has done at the Air Canada Center in his career. 10 games. You see that, 6 goals, 12 points, a +2, and 3 points on the power play.
Now you saw the hat trick that he scored here last March in a 5-3 win for the Lightning. His only 3 goals in the season series last year, and he saved him for his hometown here at the Air Canada Center.
Yeah. Interesting note here, Rick. You know, Clarkson just picked up his 6th goal in the 20th game of the Leafs, and he had 5 in all 60 last year that he played in.
Yeah, big free agent signing going into last season, and he didn't even make it to the regular season. He was suspended 10 games for coming off the bench to get involved in an altercation. Jake Gardiner pursued there by Nikita Kucherov. Out for Pulock. Peter Holland stick handling to center. Schuster will be challenged in here by Daniel Winnick. Winnick, Santorelli, and Robida, those free agent acquisitions by the Leafs. Palat comes up with a puck. Schuster chips it ahead, just out of the reach of Andre Palat. Pulock getting it to center, taken by Holland. Past the 9-minute mark here in the first. 1-0 Leafs in front. Here's Holland, steered wide by Schuster, and with that great reach at 6'8", got the puck away. Filppula trying to work it free. Tied up by Winnick. Winnick grabs the puck. Fires it to Clarkson. Leaving it 4 foot off the wrist shot, and it's off the back of Schuster. Dropped in front. Johnson got it away. And it's thrown back to the corner by Winnick.
Johnson can't get off the ice. He's trying to get a line change, and 2 of his line mates got off. He couldn't.
Put up across for Cody Franson. He's belted there by Callahan as he let the puck go in behind the net. Clarkson trying to wheel it out in front. Former New Jersey Devil still with it. Turns to the forehand, shoots, and it's deflected just by Ben Bishop. And Riemsdyk was screening Bishop out in front, and still the Lightning have not gotten out of the zone. Off the bench comes Bozak. Back to Franson. He's got a big shot. Phaneuf watched by Callahan. That's been a matchup to watch since the opening drop of the puck tonight. Phil Kessel. Back to Phaneuf. Able to keep it alive. Van Riemsdyk comes by for it. Has room to turn. Fire save by Bishop. And it just dribbled wide. Johnson still out there. Schuster. Now with Filppula getting it down the ice. Tampa Bay finally able to change now with 9:20 to go in the first period. And the crowd cheering the Leafs. They weren't doing much of that the other night. Played in by Palat. One irate fan threw his Leafs jersey on the ice during play. In that third period where Nashville scored on its first 4 shots of the period. All of a sudden it was 7-0, then became 8-0 and ended up 9-2. And now we get the Go Leafs Go chant. Well, things can be a little fickle here, I guess. It's 1-0, Toronto in front.
A little? As you see there, the Leafs up by 1 here, just over the halfway mark, and they're at big induction ceremony for the Hockey Hall of Fame Monday night. You see the players that went in, some pretty good players there, and Blake, Forsberg, Hasek, and Mike Modano, and all their outstanding contributions to the game on the ice. Pat Burns and Bill McCreary also inducted. Pat Burns, only coach to win, I believe, 3 Jack Adams awards, and then Bill McCreary, longtime referee who was one of the better ones.
Ryan Boyle facing off now against Richard Panik. Shots 4 apiece with the Leafs in front. Radko Gudas lobs that puck through the middle of the ice, and it carries back in deep in the Leaf zone. Icing will be the call.
You know what? I know you'll talk about it. The Lightning had a day off after playing back-to-back games, the Rangers and the Islanders, and they didn't get on the ice yesterday. But usually when that happens, it takes them a little while. Any team, they're a little sluggish at the start. So far, the first 11-20, Lightning haven't really shown a whole lot of their skating ability as yet.
Well, the Leafs were on the ice. 90-minute practice.
Yeah.
After that bad loss, and working on a lot of things. They felt they really have been turning the puck over way too many times. Very loose play in their own zone. We've seen them tighten up a little bit there. Here's Riley with a shot. It's blocked by Conley. Gudas up the boards for Brendan Morrow. Boy, he engaged his man Panik and surprised him with that collision. Morrow free to get to the puck. Now to Conley. Curling back. Brewer trying to join the attack. Bouncing puck over his stick. Gudas takes it, fires off the back of the goal. It comes off the ledge of the boards as Conley gave Panik a shot. Kessel's pass knocked down. He'll try to go to Trevor Smith. Trevor signing with this organization as a free agent after helping the Lightning's AHL team win the Calder Cup in 2012 in Norfolk. In fact, they beat the Toronto Marlies in that Calder Cup final. And Trevor had a very effective stint, 16 games with the Lightning that year in 2011 and 12. Garrison, Drouin turns, fires, deflected off a leg in front as Nemestikov was trying to shake free there, and Gardner got to the puck. It's played out. Killorn barreled into by Clarkson. Polak working with Jake Gardner, and the pass out of Polak's reach comes right to Garrison, and Nemestikov speeds into the zone. Killorn takes a look, leaving it now for Nemestikov. He's got all sorts of room to walk in front. He does, trying to stuff it home. Stopped by Bernier, and the puck is covered and held by Bernier. We got the whistle.
Well, I'll tell you what, you watch how that young guy hangs on to that puck. And here's the play. Watch. He sees the ice, and he's got like a hesitation move that kind of really fools everybody. You think he's going to go one way, and he hesitates and comes back and kind of ties the checker up in knots. And, you know, he has to, as you see the numbers that he's put up, and it's just going to be a matter of time before that real big offensive side of his comes through.
Bozak wins the faceoff. And it's chipped by Kessel to center, recovered by Steven Stamkos. Callahan absorbs a hit from Van Riemsdyk. Here's Kessel, and the whistle blows, and we've got a roughing penalty to Van Riemsdyk. Just as Kessel was ready to unload the shot, Van Riemsdyk going off.
Toronto number 21, minor penalty for roughing.
What happened is that when he was going to check Callahan did that reverse check on him just like that. And that's what upset him. He wasn't expected, so then he took a shot to the back of the neck or head of Callahan. So the first power play will end up on the Tampa Bay side. Comes at 13-15.
Lightning at 23.2%, sixth in the league. Coming in, the Leafs tied for 10th at 83.6. That's been a strength, their penalty killing. Vinik works the puck three, and it's Stamkos playing it down the boards. Lightning getting going here in this Toyota power play opportunity. The water bottle was knocked off Jonathan Bernier's net. Bishop patiently hangs on to it as Vinik came by.
Lightning were working on zone positioning on their power play in morning skate. But the biggest problem they've had over the last couple of games is getting it into the zone.
Leo Komarov coming up the works here. Filppula, one of the leaders with 8 power play assists. Would love to pick up another one here. Stamkos. The Lightning relay it back to Garrison over for Filppula. You know where to find Callahan. He's right in front of Bernier. Stamkos looks that way. Has to go back to Garrison. And the pass comes out of the zone. A minute remaining on the penalty to Van Riemsdyk. Stamkos. Pass down low to Callahan. Around to Filppula. Stamkos took a look in front. Nobody there yet. Brett Conley has joined his crew. Callahan now in front. Conley trying to shake free in the slot. Strawman gets it back to Filppula. Leaving it for Stamkos. Lightning without a shot to this point. Conley turns and fires. Juggled by Bernier, and he'll hang on. 32 seconds to go on the Lightning power play.
Yeah, they were trying to catch him unawares. Sometimes you can catch that goaltender kind of cheating to the middle of the net. Watch this Conley down there. See him. He's down on the shoulders. He did get up on his feet, but if they stay down there, that opens up that whole short side above his shoulder. And but Bernier got on his feet and cut it off.
You can see he started that game on Tuesday and took the loss, giving up the first 3 goals, and James Reimer came in and was the unfortunate netminder for the rest of that. But Bernier against the Lightning is save percentage over 96% in 2 starts against Tampa Bay.
I think got to be aware of this penalty kill for the Leafs. They've got 3 shorthanded goals.
Strawman finding Kucherov, sends it toward the net, steered away and into the netting by Bernier. An easy stop there with 11 seconds to go on the penalty. The Back in Black 4-game plan presented by Chase scores you any 4 Saturday home games and a free Ryan Callahan Reebok official player t-shirt. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com. Great offer. Lightning with their black unis on Saturday night against the Wild, Chief.
Yeah. I'd like to see a little bit more intensity or urgency in their game here tonight. So far, the first 15 minutes, it's been a very pedestrian 15 minutes. They're a much more intense team than this.
Enough trying to clear. Strawman got there in time to hold it in for Kucherov. He locates Matt Carl. And his shot missed the net as he had both Palat and Tyler Johnson swinging by. Here's a drive that missed the net. That was a little closer with a penalty ending. And Van Riemsdyk back on for Toronto. Puck comes to Kucherov. He quickly tried to make a play. Faced by Winnick. Back for Johnson. Has Palat in front. The pass hit him right around the belt area as it was tipped up into his midsection. He couldn't get a shot away.
Boy, Kucherov had that puck control in the corner. Winnick just tugged him a little bit to knock him off his stride, or else he was going to walk in front. He had such a good move and a good chance to do so.
Bernier, his second year with Toronto, moving that puck along. Panik getting it now to Van Riemsdyk. He'll bounce one in wide of Bishop. Brewer there. The pass ahead to Boyle. Boyle charging down the boards. He's got Morrow with him behind the net. Stepped into by the youngster Morgan Riley. Brewer compacts the play for the Lightning. Around to Boyle. His shot deflected through a crowd. Morrow got a piece of it. Killorn was stationed out in front of Bernier. The Leafs get control. And the 20-year-old Riley to center. Now to Nazem Kadri. Penalty upcoming to Gudas. And he'll go for a trip at 16:32. And Toronto will get a turn on the power play. When we come back, the Leafs in front on the goal by Clarkson at 1:29 of this opening period. Here's tonight's great moment in hockey history, brought to you by Geico. On this day in 1999, Red Wing captain Steve Yzerman picked up an assist at a 2-1 loss to Edmonton, becoming the 7th player to reach 1,500 career points. Yzerman is still today part of an exclusive club of only 6 players to have scored 1,500 points with a single team. And you see his display at the Hockey Hall of Fame just about a block away. Our producer Rob Aller and Jonathan Harrell at the Hockey Hall of Fame getting video in a number of venues at the Hall of Fame earlier today. And Steve with his rightful spot, inducted in 2009.
Boy, he was a player when he played. Oof.
He's in every conversation of the greatest players in the history of this sport. No question about that.
Exactly. Gudas with the tripping call. Is Toronto now on the power play the first time.
Kessel with a shot. It's tipped on goal by Van Riemsdyk, and Bishop had the left pad down. Kessel closing in. Bozak on the give and go. It's intercepted by Palat, knocked free to the boards, and Phaneuf corralled it. Back for Phil Kessel. 11 goals leading the team right behind Steven Stamkos at 12. Here's Francis shooting into the crowd, knocked down. Kessel stopped by Bishop. Set it in front, deflected, and Bishop a stop there. The Lightning clear it out.
Well, they get everybody in that goal crease. They get 3 guys pumped in there. Tough for you to move.
Ryan Boyle. Vlad Nemestikov up front on this penalty-killing unit. Strawman forced the dump in by Van Riemsdyk. Bozak comes by for it. Boyle over for it. Easy clear there. 1:05 to go in the penalty. Bernier pressured here by Nemestikov. Jake Gardner, 10-goal season last year. Moving it ahead to Nazem Kadri. Tried to cut inside, got clipped, and a penalty upcoming to the Lightning. And that'll create another 2-man disadvantage, and we say another because it's happened game after game here. He's being checked out by Mark Joannette, the referee. As Kadri, see what we end up with.
He's trying to squeeze blood out of his nose.
Now Boyle and Clarkson having a disagreement. The linesman rushed in there to keep them apart.
Double minute or 11, Meyer going for high stick.
Boyle gets 2 for the high stick.
Watch it come in. Strawman comes in here. You see. I thought it got. It looked like. Watch. Where's the stick come in? He got hit by his own player. Take that again. He gets hit by his own player. This is the bad thing about it. Boyle didn't even touch him. His own player clipped Kadri with the high stick.
Now the Lightning getting practice in these 2-men short situations. They got out of a significant one Monday night against the Rangers to start this trip. They're short 2 men now for 48 seconds and counting. The time on the Gudas call. Here's Kessel. Back to Franson, watched by Tyler Johnson. Palat and Strawman, the other Lightning players on the ice. Cody Franson working it with Phaneuf. Crowd anxious for a shot to be taken. Franson looks. Here's Kessel, and his pass was blocked by Bishop. He had the paddle down, looking for that backdoor play to Van Riemsdyk, and he sent it through his legs off the skate and wide. Franson turns away from Andre Palat. 15 to go in the first penalty. Kessel fires. Saved by Bishop as he went tumbling to his left. As the shot went to his right, here's Kessel out of the corner. Fires across, and Phaneuf had to stop that puck with a skate, and has tried to deflect it out of play. And that takes care of the first penalty. 1:06 remaining on the Brian Boyle call.
Well, they didn't have a shot on goal with their power play. They got two on that two-man advantage situation. There you see that second shot. It went out of play. The Lightning did a really good job of limiting the shots. And Ben came up with a couple of nice saves.
I don't know if the Lightning forced that angle on the pass, but had that pass been on the mark, would have been an excellent chance for Phaneuf. But he had to dig it out of his skates. Tyler Johnson tipped the try out of play. And the Leafs missing on that play. Looking back toward Morgan Rielly. Here comes Killorn. He cuts in, shoots, scores! Alex Killorn surprising the Leafs with a shorthanded goal to tie the game at 1.
Well, that's what they've been trying to do on their penalty kill, even right from training camp, is when you see that puck being fumbled or not being picked up cleanly by the other team, you got to pounce on it quickly. And that one, really quick wrist shot again. Coming down that off wing, gets surprised. Bernier, Killorn picks up his third straight game with a goal. And this time it's a short-handed one and ties his hockey game at 18-50.
His 5th goal on the season. The Lightning with 3 shorthanded goals on the year. And still 50 seconds left to kill on the Boyle penalty. And Riemsdyk re-enters the Lightning zone. Down the boards for Bozak. Top unit back on for Randy Carlyle here with under a minute to go in this first period. Score tied at 1. Kessel getting now to Bozak, feeding it to Van Riemsdyk. It was disrupted enough by Nemesnikov and Brewer that they couldn't get a clean shot away. Here's Kessel marching to the front. The pass across Bishop. A save on Van Riemsdyk. And he hangs on to it. Whistle blows. 20 seconds on the penalty. 39 in the period.
Well, now they're starting to get their legs. They're starting. You can see Ben too is starting to get his positioning in that net. You know, he was a little slow at tracking the puck. Now he's doing a much better job of tracking the puck over the last 5 minutes than the first. So he's starting to get into the game as well.
Killorn's first career shorthanded goal unassisted has tied this game up. Lightning trying to hang on here to kill the rest of the time on the Boyle penalty. Dion Phaneuf at the point with the wrist shot. Deflected. Bishop a stop. And the whistle blew. Bozak tipped that shot from the point. It bounced in on Bishop, who made the save. And apparently they lost sight of the puck, or it was deflected with a high stick.
Because the play's coming outside the zone, so it's going to go all the way down. It was a high stick.
Since the Leafs are on the power play, comes all the way down.
Yeah. It was deflected out front by Bozak above the hash marks. It bounced off the ice and then back up into Ben Bishop.
So a break for the Lightning there. Now 10 seconds to go on this shorthanded situation. Bozak will pull it back for Cody Franson. And that'll just about get the Lightning out of the woods here. Kessel swerving into the zone. Boyle back on. Lightning not only kill the two-man disadvantage, not only take care of the rest of the time, but they score a shorthanded goal. Franson shooting. Bishop the stop with about 9 seconds to go in the period. So still the Leafs get a chance. Garrison content to wait it out with Gudas. And there's the horn ending an interesting first period where the Leafs, you knew, were going to come out sharp and aggressive. They did that. The Lightning absorbed what they had to offer. And Killorn scored the shorthanded goal late in the period. So stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda dealers' first intermission report. Paul Kennedy, Chris Dingman will visit with Alex Killorn, who has scored in 3 consecutive games. And we'll see the NHL's top 3 plays from our friends at Fox Sports 1's America's pregame show. Highlights and stats as well. So stay with us. Great view of the Toronto skyline. 1-1. We're tied up through 20 minutes of play. Clarkson and Killorn have traded goals in this one so far. Sports fans, there's a new way to get all your Florida sports gear. Introducing TampaBaySports.com, your new online store to get Lightning, Bucks, Rays, Bulls, Gators, and Seminoles merchandise. Rick Peckham and the Chief Bobby Taylor back with you here in the booth at the Air Canada Center. 1-1. The Lightning make it out of that first 20 minutes, Chief. Always tough. And it seems like they're getting hit with a rash of penalties lately. Even when they don't commit the foul, as we saw there, they do get the penalty. And that was part of their undoing the other night against the Islanders. They got to avoid that here.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, and also they got to get much better in the faceoff circle. You know, they're 75% of the faceoffs were won by the Leafs. The Lightning only won one in the offensive zone, so that has to get better as well. But I thought they started to get their legs, probably with about 6-7 minutes to go in the period. They started to come along.
Let's have a look at our chase review. We see the shots 9-8 favoring the Leafs, despite all that power play time and the overlap with a 51-second two-man advantage. And they did have the advantage in scoring chances, 5-2. Lightning getting one power play in that first period. As we look at our goal scorers for this game, Alex Killorn, goals in 3 straight games, and he mentioned missing 8 games. He's missed time in 2 separate 4-game stints, so it's been tough for him to, in his mind, really get some momentum and get his game going. But it seems like he's getting it done, Chief.
Yeah, and also I think, you know, he's switched different line mates too when he came back. And you got to get used to that as well.
Yep, playing the right side instead of the left, although he said he played some right side in college at Harvard. But the Leafs cycle to start this second period with their top line. But up throwing it behind the net. It's cut off by Bishop. Back around to Callahan. And he's got Filppula and Stamkos busting through center. Stamkos in the zone to Callahan. Was open for a moment. Couldn't get that puck to the forehand for the shot. And Bernier is stopped there on Gudas, deflecting it out of play.
Tampa Bay Lightning hockey on Sun Sports is brought to you by Patrick's. Patrick's is proud to be serving the Lightning fans in Tampa for 18 years. And it's a great place to go before or after game, but they also have catering. So if you need a business meeting, a luncheon, or even a tailgate party, they're there for your next event. So give them a call today. Set things up. Bring the party to where you are.
Good advice from a man who knows. Here's a shot for the point that missed the net as Tyler Johnson won that face-off for the Lightning. Kucherov across for Johnson. Steps into the zone. Back to Kucherov. Trying to maneuver around Holland. He does. A forehand try is stopped by Bernier. Quick little move to the forehand by Kucherov. He's wrangling there with Clarkson. Peter Holland with a puck. He'll spin it back to the Lightning zone. Bishop hangs on to it. And now fires it himself off the boards. This will result in an icing call.
Well, he kind of got crossed up because he had a referee and a linesman on the left side, and Brewer's coming back. It kind of got crossed up there, and he tried to feed up the wall, but the face-off circle is where the Lightning have got to improve. We'll see it here.
Well, Kadri all set to take that draw, and he's being tossed out. Komarov will oppose Tyler Johnson. Tim Nowak, the linesman who's the back of the blue line, trying to get everybody set just right. And Johnson does win the draw, back for Gudas. Ahead for Palat. Johnson leads it by Kucherov. Lightning trying to get a quick change going. Pass ahead to Santorelli down the right side. Matched up with his former Canucks teammate, Jason Garrison. Pass across to Riley. It was deflected in the air. He had to concentrate on knocking it down. Couldn't get the shot away. Santorelli was playing very well for the Canucks last year and then suffered a shoulder injury, had surgery, missed the final 33 games of the year. That's pretty much the way that year went for the Canucks. And the playoff side here.
Interesting to see there. You see him coming in there. He was over the blue line before he picked up the puck and drew it in, and can't figure out why he was offside. Santorelli also played a little bit in Florida. It's been around a little bit.
Had a 20-goal season as a member of the Panthers. Couldn't quite come back to that level, and then started to move on. But I think John Tortorella really felt he played well for him in Vancouver while healthy. Puck is chopped behind the net. It's knocked free. Kessel canceled by Nemestikov right in front of the Lightning net. And out come the youngsters with Killorn. The pass deflected. Picked up by Van Riemsdyk, ahead to Kessel. Storming in on Bishop. He fires. Bishop the save. He covers the puck.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that's the one guy you really don't want to see go one-on-one with your goaltender. He has such great hands, and he has the ability to get it up very, very quickly to the top part of the net. That time he just got it up enough for the Ben Bishop to make the pad save with the top of his left pad.
The only guy I could think of, Chief, who really loved to fire that puck off the wrong foot. As you can see, he planted on the right foot to let it go. That's shooting off the wrong foot. Mark Messier was great at that. And Kessel will do it whenever he can. Puck comes right out in front. Strawman has it. And to the Boyle. Pass in the skates of Strawman, and that allows the Leafs to quickly turn it around. Panik leading it. Interrupted by Conley. Brett Conley. Checked there by Levo. Carl gets it back for the Lightning. And he gave it up to Panik. He's got all sorts of time, and he scores. And the Leafs are back in front 2-1.
2:45 is the time of Panik's goal. Watch, he comes in there. He gets in there very, very quickly, but he just flips it up to go to the middle. Those little flip passes have hurt the Lightning over the last 3 or 4 games. And Richard Panik gets number 4 on the year, unassisted.
Well, the Lightning find themselves down a goal again fairly early in the period. Filppula hops on a loose puck at center for the Lightning. And he's knocked down by Van Riemsdyk, trying to cross that line. It's played ahead and in and out of the bench area. Panik, a second-round pick of the Lightning, 2009. And he was just another guy, Chief, that we talked about in the pregame of Drouin, Namestnikov, Paquette, all these guys. You just didn't have enough room for all of them.
Exactly, and they were kind of hoping that they may be able to sneak in through waivers, and that wasn't the case.
Schuster couldn't center against Dion Phaneuf. He'll get another chance, and this one's blocked by Bozak. Callahan held up the Leafs for a moment. Lead pass is just out of Van Riemsdyk's reach and taken by Filppula. Garrison in for Stamkos. Bounces off the check of Franson. Protects the puck. Looks for the shooting opportunity. Takes it. Saved by Bernier. Rebound is blocked in front. Phaneuf is knocked into Bernier. He's back up at his skates.
Stamkos coming through the middle there. Knocked Phaneuf right into him. Phaneuf was surprised.
Stamkos shoots. He just fires it wide. Schuster. He lets it go. That's steered away by Bernier. Garrison back in behind for Callahan. Quick move. Lost Phaneuf for a moment. Back to Stamkos. Best threat for this line, perhaps in the night. Stamkos gets tangled up with Schuster. Away comes Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk leans in, goes forehand, and he chips it over the crossbar, trying to go high on Bishop. Bozak behind for Kessel. Polak down the boards. Lightning get it back. It's flipped by the stick of Callahan. Chopped by Gardner, and Johnson gathers it in.
The Lightning need a change. They got a partial, but they got to get their D off.
Johnson on the one-touch, getting it to Andre Palat. He's checked by Polak at center. Winnick sends it in. Bishop throwing it to the open corner, and Peter Holland getting there. Gardner with a shot. He missed the net. Palat battles along the boards. Garrison and Schuster remain out there as Palat gets control. Ahead to Kucherov. He finds Johnson cutting in. Trying to cut to the middle. Back to Kucherov off his skate. And has kind of been one of the themes of this game is passing on both sides has been a little bit off the mark. Good chances, but a good pass would result in an even better opportunity. Here's Brewer. Checked by Gardner. Holland flips it. Gets it out. It's off Palat. Challenged by Winnick. Now Holland had it stripped away by Palat. Andre Palat in the zone. Feeds it to the corner. Nemestikov after it. He's checked by Jake Gardner. 14:25 to go in the second period. And the Leafs moving in front. Richard Panik at all sorts of time. Not anything that Ben Bishop could do about that one. And Panik scoring his 4th goal unassisted. Killorn dumps it in. Gardner checked by Nemestikov. Got it free to Nazem Kadri. Polak. He'll fire it in from center and change. Carl back around for Stralman. Killorn. He's got Santorelli on his back. Carl takes it from there. Drouin trying to push it to the corner. Does so, and Komarov has it. Komarov in the KHL last year. He was a key member of their bottom 6 forwards the year before when the Leafs made the playoffs. And he was among the hit leaders that year in the NHL, and he came into this game tied for first with 84 hits tonight. Carl to center ice for the Lightning. Off the bench quickly, it's Brett Connolly for Tampa Bay. Checked there by Morgan Riley. Got it free to Levo. Dropping it back for Robidoff. And he'll send it ahead. Trevor Smith trying to catch up to it. And Garrison beat him on the race, icing the call. Score a Little Caesars Family Fun Pack this Saturday at 7 p.m. The Lightning taking on the Minnesota Wild. Packages start as low as $100. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Leafs are a strange team right now. They've only got 5 of their drafted players playing here right now. 2 first-rounders in Kadri and Riley, and Levo and was the 3rd, and Komarov that you talked about was a 6th-rounder, and then, of course, the other one being the other goaltender in Reimer.
Now the Leafs right now in front as Panik converts the giveaway for a 2-1 lead.
Lightning down by 1. You see the time remaining here in the second period. You take a look at the goal leaders, team goal leaders, that is. You see the Lightning in front with 73 goals. Penguins, Flames, and the Leafs real closely bunched together behind the Lightning. Lightning have played a couple more games than Pittsburgh, but they have been scoring at a phenomenal pace over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Steven Stamkos ahead in the Lightning goal parade. No surprise there. Ryan Callahan hot lately, right behind him. After the Lightning face the Wild on Saturday, they'll play 23 consecutive games against the Eastern Conference, so we'll start to see Pittsburgh in the middle of December. Lightning won't face Montreal again until mid-January. They won't see Boston till then. They're working on goal off the face-off here. And Kessel got it free, but not by Carl. Stamkos wants it. It rolled past his stick. Dion Phaneuf will chip it out. Knocked down by Stralman. Relayed down to Kessel. Fires, saved by Bishop. Boy, he has been sharp on that angle against Kessel twice coming down that left side.
He has a quick release. He really reminds me of Patrick Kane a lot for the Blackhawks. He comes in there and just takes that quick shot, and that's the thing. When you're shooting that puck without really getting your body set, it really can throw off a goaltender. He'll look for little signs. Most guys will stop their feet when they're going to shoot. If you can keep your feet moving and shooting at the same time, that could catch a goalie unawares as well.
Well, he's shaking his head as Bishop has gotten him twice. Kessel 4, the 12 Leaf shots on goal to start this game. Johnson another face-off win. It's played out by Gudas. Kucherov trying to find the handle. Andre Palat on the quick stop back to Gudas, shooting a save by Bernier, and it's played away by Polak. Gudas firing at will tonight. This is the building where he scored his first NHL goal back in March of 2013. Gardner had all sorts of trouble teeing up that puck for a shot. Gudas with a puck. And Polak playing it back. Back for Holland. Gudas, by the way, 3 goals in his career against the Leafs in 6 games. So we'll see if he can add another one tonight. A try by Clarkson along the goal line, spoiled by Brewer. Clarkson punches it out in front. It's between the point men. Comes all the way back to Jonathan Bernier. Bernier, his first year as a #1 goalie last year, and he was a winner 27 times in 55 games. only played 25 games for the Kings over 6 years, I believe, before he was traded here. As it's played off the boards, Nemestikov gets it out ahead for Killorn. He's tied up by Komarov. Bishop out to handle it, Chief.
Yeah, Leafs are really controlling that neutral zone right now. Lightning haven't been able to move the play out. They're jumping all over them. They haven't been able to answer. They're much quicker in this period, and this has not been one of the Lightning's better periods. In fact, they're even in goal differential.
Nemestikov pulls away from the crowd, fires it wide as he was hurried from behind. Lightning come up with a puck. Pass hit Drouin, comes out to center. And the Lightning have to get back on side. Good opportunity there. Drouin back up the middle. He maneuvers in. Curls back. Strom on the one-timer. A save in front. As Robidas paired off with Killorn in front of Bernier. The pass stolen by the back-checking Stamkos. He cuts into the zone. Had it chopped away by Panik. Carl. Now into Callahan, and Stamkos offside as Robidas and Callahan come together.
Well, take a look at this. This is a very quick play, and one of the few times the Lightning have been able to catch the Leafs, but you see the quick speed of him, and he's tried to go up over the glove, blocker's glove, but he got it off the toe of the blade of his stick. Had that puck been more to the middle of the blade, he might have been able to control it a little bit better. .12-12, the shots on goal. They were just about at the halfway mark of this game.
Stamkos getting a new stick from the Lightning bench.
Filppula was the only guy on the Lightning team in the first period to have a positive face-off percentage.
Well, they seem to have picked it up here, and haven't we seen that on this trip, Chief? They didn't get off to a great start at Madison Square Garden in the face-off circle, nor Tuesday night on the island, but they rose to the challenge from there, and they'll see if they can make it work for them here in the second period, though they're down a goal. Stamkos across for Filppula, and the play offside. Tim Nowak, a native of snowy Buffalo, on the call there. And boy, that snow has been weird, Chief, because there's areas of Buffalo getting only a couple of inches, and then south of town, Lackawanna, and areas like that, they're getting 6 and 8 feet. I mean, they're supposed to get another 2 feet today.
I know. It might not be gone by the time we go up there in 2 weeks.
Good chance of that. Schuster has Morrow cutting by, closely watched by his old Dallas teammate, Robidas. As Schuster getting it back up the open boards, Morrow and Robidas still bumping. Well, we talk a lot about that serious broken leg suffered by Stamkos last year. Robidas had one as well. In fact, he refractured the leg.
Yeah, that's scary.
Schuster with a drive. Deflected, and it's off Bernier's. It hit Brendan Morrow. He got the blade of his stick on it out in front. And Schuster at center. Playing it back in the lead zone. Riley working that puck to Stefan Robidas, now 37 years old. Levo with a pass at center for Trevor Smith. He swings in. Gonna make a play in front. That's blooded by Garrison. Josh Levo, the youngster. Center, Smith pulls the trigger, and Garrison got there to block the shot. Gudas flips it back to center. Gardner's got to turn and chase. Johnson in pursuit. Gardner off the glass, punched ahead by Gudas, and the hand pass is whistled by the official. Just under 9 minutes to go in the second period. Toronto leading on the Richard Panik goal.
Well, the Leafs still up by 1, but Brendan Morrow almost tied the game on a tremendous deflection. There comes a shot from the point. There it is, right there in front. And was that actually had beaten Bernier, but it comes up and hits the post. And Morrow bidding to tie this game and also pick up his first of the year.
Lightning have had a healthy forward group. Of course, Brett Conley just coming back tonight, and John Cooper with healthy bodies has kind of rotated guys in and out. JT Brown, a healthy scratch tonight. Morrow was a healthy scratch the other night. And of course, our point has been all along, all of these forwards are producing in many different ways. So it's a very tough decision night in, night out, who's going to end up sitting out. Kucherov battling and winning the battle against David Clarkson. Brings it to center, slipping it down to Gudas. He'll let it go. A save by Bernier, and he'll hang on.
Yeah, that's one of the things you want to really see is getting those shots through and on there. This is a nice play right here. Take a look. We saw Killorn score the shorthanded goal by taking a quick shot on net. That one was a little bit out, and I think Bernier was ready for it.
You see there the 3 goals in 6 games against the Leafs.
You know, one of the things that you struggle with when you have games like this 3 and 4 nights, you don't get a whole lot of chance to practice. If you're struggling with certain areas, you can't have the practice to work on.
Well, there are mandatory days off every month. The team gets 4 mandatory days off, and the Lightning in a pretty busy stretch. I believe it was 9 games in 17 days or something like that in the middle weeks of this month. Here's Carl. He's open. He shoots, and it's handled by Bernier. You got to work those in, and the Lightning had a day off yesterday because they've been playing back-to-back.
Yeah, it kind of gives them a little bit of a break, though, after this weekend. They'll fly home tonight after this game in Toronto, play Minnesota on Saturday. Then they're off until the following Wednesday when the Rangers come to town. So not only will you get a day off, but they'll get 2 days of good practicing as well.
And then they're off until Saturday night hosting the Ottawa Senators. Puck deflects, picked up by Bozak. Headmans to Kessel. Kessel looks to make the pass back for Bozak. He was slowed up just enough by Filppula. And Carl shoots it back into the attacking zone for the Lightning. Cody Franson, an 8-game point streak coming in with 10 points in that span. Puck poked ahead by Van Riemsdyk, and here he comes. He steams down that shuttle, and he scores! Bishop wanted that one back as Van Riemsdyk found the corner. After Kessel twice had been stopped from that spot, Van Riemsdyk scores and makes it 3-1.
That's a big goal for Toronto. The Lightning got caught up there as moving up, and the top of the circle to the glove side normally is just a piece of cake for Ben Bishop, but this time it eludes him and gets over just over the top of the glove. And Van Riemsdyk picks up his 8th of the year to give the Leafs a 2-goal lead. The way this game's been going, that's a big one at this point.
A scrum from the ensuing faceoff, and the puck comes back to the Lightning zone. Schuster moving it to Garrison. Schuster gets the red line, he'll play it in. And the Islanders scoring 3 second-period goals the other night to bust in front over the Lightning after Tampa Bay had taken a 1-0 lead. And the Leafs have scored twice here in the second period, about 10 minutes apart. Franson continues his point streak now to 9 games by picking up an assist on that goal as he and Tyler Bozak pick up the helpers. Gudas going to move that puck to center, does so. Robidas plays it back in. Shots are 14 apiece, 3-1 Leafs. Here's Killorn. His pass to Brewer, shooting a save by Bernier, and the rebound handled by Santorelli. He was pressured by Nemestikov.
He did a good job of blocking out there.
Daniel Winnick's backhand try, steered away by Gudas. Brewer grabs the loose puck. Brendan Morrow. Now with Conley in the rush, swings in wide, lets the shot go, and it's off the right shoulder of Bernier. Morrow battling with Polak. Gardner turns away from a head, and we do get a penalty upcoming here. It looks like it's going to Brendan Morrow, with the Leafs in front 3-1. Be sure to tune in Saturday night. The Lightning back home and hosting the Minnesota Wild. Both looking to avenge a 7-2 loss in Minnesota about a month ago. Our coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with Lightning Live pregame. The Bolts and the Wild Thursday night right here on Sun Sports.
That gives us a good chance to take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Steak and Shake. And you see that the Wild and then the Rangers come to town on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then after that, Ottawa on Saturday. Then the Lightning come back up north with the Rangers and the Sabres right after that.
Brendan Morrow in the penalty box for holding at 14:02, a third Toronto power play chance. Their first two overlapped by 51 seconds, and the Lightning able to battle through that two-man disadvantage, hold off the Maple Leafs, and here's Phaneuf shooting, and it's blocked as Andre Palat goes down. He took that in the back.
Yeah, he did.
And he's shaken up trying to get to the bench as the Lightning clear it out. As the Leafs get started on this Toyota power play chance. And head athletic trainer Tom Mulligan there waiting for Palat at the bench. Lightning not only killed the penalties, of course. Killorn scored shorthanded. That puck fired into the Toronto bench with 1:32 to go in the Morrow penalty.
Well, I'll tell you what, that hurts back there. Take a look as he gets out there. He's trying to turn around. That's right up around the shoulder blades. He took that. It could be where they do have kind of a padding there, but it's not that thick.
Not meant for blocking shots.
No, it isn't. More for cross checks in the back.
Tyler Johnson's had the hot hand in that circle on the faceoff here in the second period. Leafs get it right here with Cody Franson working it to Kadri. Back to Franson, closely watched by Boyle. Phaneuf trying to make a play quickly. Gets it now to Clarkson. Back around to Nazem Kadri. Franson. Kadri with a wrist shot. It's blocked by Stralman. The drive by Franson. It's off the stick and off the glass. Kadri has it now with 1:05 to go on the penalty. Phaneuf is open. Look, fires, and he zips it wide. Kadri has it. Franson, Phaneuf the one-timer again, and it's stuck under the left leg pad of Bishop. The whistle blows. 54 seconds to go in this Toronto power play.
Well, they're not shy about getting those shots out. Man, they've had a couple of pretty good opportunities. And they're trying to set up Phaneuf right there with that one-timer. And Bishop's been able to get over there and get really square to the shooter. Phaneuf's 700th game tonight as well.
And his career with the Calgary Flames. He's got the puck right now, moving it to Kessel. Walks in, fires, save, rebound. They score. And Riemsdyk right there for the second chance, and it's now a 4-1 Toronto lead.
Second consecutive goal for Van Riemsdyk, his 9th of the year. 15-15 is the time of it. Watch it, there's nobody near him. Rebound comes there, nobody there. Two Leafs are in front of the net, just one defender. And he pumps it up home for the power play goal to give the Leafs a commanding 4-1 lead here in the second.
And Riemsdyk and Kessel each reaching 30 goals last year. Kessel at 37. One of the more potent 1-2 punches in the NHL, as we talked about in the open. Conley nearly stepped inside on Morgan Riley, who got enough of him to prevent him from making his move to Bernier. He covers the puck. And Riemsdyk now at 9 goals. Kessel leading with 11 on the Leaf team. And Kessel and Phaneuf should get the assists on this power play goal. Conley facing off against Kadri. Santorelli chased back by Schuster. Komarov will skim it to the corner. Schuster battling Santorelli, who emerges with a puck. And he hands it away to Jonathan Drouin. As Drouin can't outmaneuver Morgan Riley. Kessel and Phaneuf do indeed get the assists on the goal. Pass deflected, comes to Carl, shoots into a crowd. Stop there out of in front. It's chopped through the goal mouth as Conley was tangled up with Romanov, and Bernier in no position to make a save. And play was continuing around them, but the Lightning couldn't find the empty net.
And they couldn't get a bounce off those bodies that were lying in the crease.
Callahan's pass is knocked down. It comes to Killorn. Hands it down to Stamkos. Winding, firing. Bernier the save. He hangs on with Killorn driving the net.
Well, the Lightning again give up 3 second period goals. They're a minus now a goal differential in that second period. There you see him bump down there. Conley was sitting there. There you see the pass coming right through. And you think with the goaltender lying down there trying to get his arm to cover as much of the net as possible, it might have hit him. But it went absolutely underneath the arm and the body and out the other side.
Callahan battles to get to that puck. Killorn stationed right in the blue. The pass through his skates and a couple of others. And Stamkos saw the hit coming from Polak. Killorn takes over. Killorn up with the Callahan and Stamkos. Stamkos shooting. Save off the mask of Bernier, and the puck is covered outside the crease in a pile of players. And Stamkos trying to take charge of this game and lead a Lightning comeback.
It was a big pile up there. Everybody's kind of slow to move around there. They're finally getting up now, but take a look at this chance coming right up and hitting Bernier right in the mask. Anytime you see a big scrum like that, I always worry about how Stamkos' legs holding up, and it seems to be fine.
Two goals in 2 minutes and 44 seconds for the Leafs, both by Van Riemsdyk to open things up. Lightning with the edge in shots, 19-17. 12-8 Tampa Bay in the second period. But it's the Leafs who have found the back of the net 3 times. And with the puck, it's Winnick. He hands it off to Holland. Holland checked by Strawman. Strawman on with Garrison. Cooper and Bonus juggling lines and combinations, looking to spark this team here in the second period. And of course, good to see Andre Palat back out there after blocking that shot in the back. He's with his usual crew, Johnson and Kucherov. Kucherov takes the puck behind the net. Turns and fires. Knocked away by Polak. And he stood up on a hit by Andre Palat. I think that surprised Polak. And the puck is cleared out of play into the netting with 2:25 to go in the period.
They're having a few words with one another.
I think Andre's all right.
Well, he's a tough kid, I'll tell you that. But watch this play here. Those reverse checks, I don't think those guys expect that. And Andre's so solid on his skates anyway. But right now, I mean, coming into the night, Lightning have never been a minus in any goal differential in any period. They were an even coming into the night in that second period. And now with those 3 unanswered goals in the second for the Leafs, they've not had really good work in the second period over the last 3 or 4 games.
Morrow dumped to the boards by Morgan Riley. Play continues. Filppula on with Morrow and Boyle. Schuster with a shot, and it skims off the helmet of Josh Levo. He's got the puck behind the net. He's far from out of trouble, though. Lost the puck to Boyle. Lightning have really stepped it up here. They're forced to center, but they've had a couple of good, hard-working, grinded-out shifts in that Leaf zone. Carl hands it to Filppula. He gives the puck to Schuster. Playing it now to Morrow. Pass deflected across for Boyle. Well, keep it on the boards. Back around to Brendan Morrow. Finds Boyle in the slot, shooting, and it's deflected away by Robidas. Morrow has it. Stick. Back for Boyle in front. Backhands it on goal. Bernier is safe. Rebound try. Bernier is stopped there. And finally, he's able to cover the puck. Good work by Boyle and Morrow and others around that Leaf net.
Boy, he got tapped on the head by Morgan Riley with a stick. But they switched the lines. They put the 3 veterans together with Filppula. There's a quick shot coming in there. They couldn't quite get that puck past. A lot of net presence, but Bernier very, very sound down below. Everything low and around the net, he's been able to really block well.
Stamkos between Killorn and Callahan. Of course, Alex back on the left side. Stamkos digs in against Bozak, and Killorn tried to cut through the circle, but the Leafs foiled that plan. And it's Kessel taking on Gudas, who got a piece of that shot. Stamkos chips it out to center. Tyler Bozak, who won an NCAA championship at Denver University with George Kwasdecki, Lightning assistant coach, as the head man back in 2008. Stamkos in the zone, plays it across, head put up, played the puck away. He looked to see the number of that truck coming by, and it was Radko Gudas, number 7, under a minute to go in the second period. Pass out for Killorn. Gudas steps up. Komarov lines him up. Stamkos stick handling through. Meets up with Polak. Out comes Kessel. Kessel cutting to the middle. Coming late, Bozak shooting, and it's off the stick, deflects wide. Strawman challenged there by Bozak. Komarov trying to pry it loose. 28 seconds and counting to go in the second period. Lightning have put on the work boots, I should say, Chief, in the last 3-4 minutes. Nothing to show for it as they're down 3.
Yeah, they haven't been able to generate their speed through the neutral zone. The Leafs have done a tremendous job of clogging that area up. Consequently, they have 3 unanswered goals in this period.
Well, stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers second intermission report. We'll present On Thin Ice with Jay and Dan and Chris Dingman. Paul Kennedy will take you around the league in a busy night, and the NHL highlights and stats as well. Kadri. Back for Polak. He's checked by Conley. Robidoux gave it up as the horn sounds. Lightning trying to create something there in the final moments of the period. As they skate off, they outshoot the Leafs 13-8 in that second period, but it's Toronto with the 3 goals. Richard Panik burning his old team, and 2 goals by James Van Riemsdyk, and the Leafs are in front 4-1. That's what it's all about, the Stanley Cup just down the street at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Lightning trailing going into this third period after a 3-goal second period by the Leafs. Chief, they're still a fragile team. They've got to be with these losses they've had to Buffalo and Nashville. But the Lightning have to get them in that fragile place here in the third.
Yeah, I think, one of the things they have to do is they have to start getting some shots from a little further out. They are getting net presence, but, they're not being able to jam it through Bernier. And I think if you can get one, you get 1 or 2 goals, a 3-goal lead is a pretty good lead, but it can be a dangerous one as well.
Let's have a look at the Chase review. Through 2 periods, Lightning with the shot advantage of 13-8 in that second period. You see they overall got the advantage, and they had 4 more scoring chances in that second period after only 2 in the first. So Leafs still dominant in the face-off circle, and if you're going to come back from 3 down, you certainly want to have the puck to start with.
Well, you take a look. 17 shots by the Leafs. 10 have come from Van Riemsdyk and Kessel. They've had 5 apiece. And Bozak's been a monster in the face-off circle. 75% of his face-offs he's won so far in 40 minutes. So this line has been a major factor in the Leafs having this 3-goal lead.
Van Riemsdyk scoring a couple of goals in 2:46 in that second period to open things up as we're underway here in the third. And the puck deflected with a high stick and brought back on the face-off in the Leafs zone.
Well, we talked about how the Lightning second period has really kind of slipped on them now, but you take a look at the third period goal differential, and the Lightning are right up there. And that's the big thing that they need to have now. They've scored a ton of goals in the third period. They need to capitalize on that again.
Jason Garrison Moving that puck to Alex Killorn. Garrison playing more than any other member of the Lightning through 40 minutes, and he's played another solid game. Van Riemsdyk to Kessel, had to reach back for the puck. He'll sweep it in. Bishop out to play it. Brewer comes by to handle it. Lugs it to the red line. Jake Gardiner off the boards and out. And you can hear the linesman indicating it's going to be icing with Gudas ahead of the pack. Score a Corona tailgate package this Saturday at 7 p.m. when the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the Minnesota Wild. Packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Well, this is the first time that Ben Bishops has given up 4 goals in a game. Usually 2 is his maximum.
Face-off won by Johnson. Back to Brewer. Shot is blocked by Winnick. Chipped by Van Riemsdyk and played out by Daniel Winnick. Now Clarkson. He's got Gardiner driving the net. Here comes Holland cutting through. Hits the side of the goal. He had all sorts of room as he went by the net and had Bishop down, but hit the side of the net. Kucherov across for Johnson. Has room. Fires in front. Batted off the side of the goal by Kucherov. Boy, had a man right on him. Still got that puck out of the air and almost had it in the net. Just ran out of room. Kadri's shot is tipped over the goal. Picked up by Carl. Boyle lugs it out. Trying to hold off Kadri, and one hand the puck in deep in the zone. He'll challenge Drobidov. In there as well as Morrow. Well, they finished up that second period with some excellent work. In and around Jonathan Bernier, but Komarov gets to center for Toronto. Bishop playing it back. Schuster finds Brendan Morrow. It kicks off the skate of Carl, and it will be icing here against the Lightning.
One of the things that the Leafs have done very well against the Lightning is when they have had a rush, they've really picked up their men coming in on the rush, limiting them for getting a rebound or getting a pass cleanly. And that's something that they've been able to waltz in with the Lightning, though, is that those guys, even when you get guys back in the zone, they've had the guys that seem to be able to get the pass to the open guy, or the guy hasn't been really tied up well enough.
Face-off won by the Lightning. Pass ahead for Boyle and ends up with Gardiner. Polak sending it back to Jake Gardiner. Loves to lug that puck, and here he comes. He shoots, and it's swallowed up by Bishop.
Yeah, that shot from the blue line, you're not going to score too often at this level. He's a young guy. He's got a ton of skill, but he's always under the gun here in Toronto. Boy, they expect a lot more of him, I guess, you know. And he's still a very young player.
And he's playing for a coach who was in Anaheim when Gardiner was taken in the first round in 2008. But he has played for Randy Carlyle and has been in the doghouse at times. We mentioned a pretty good offensive season last year. He was pretty good in that playoff series with Boston a couple of years ago as well, as Nemestikov shoots it in. Conley trying to get to it. Drouin does. And Gardiner right there, double team, found Komarov.
Well, nice move by Gardiner to get that puck out of trouble.
Lightning take over. Nemestikov in the zone. Slams on the brakes, waits. Brewer joining the play off the bench. He'll wrist it, and it's off Santorelli, who's feeling that one as it deflects out of play, and he's having trouble putting any weight in his left leg.
They just haven't been able to get their shots through as often. Yes, they've got the lead in the total, 21-18, but they can't get that shot through to the point. They haven't been able to. When they have had a deflection, it's hit the goalpost or missed the net. The bounces sometimes don't go your way for a while.
Stamkos and Bozak in this faceoff. Bozak has been their #1 center here for a couple of years, Chief, as the pass out for Van Riemsdyk. Bozak driving the net, Van Riemsdyk shooting, and it's deflected by Brewer. And he gives him a dimension as a pretty good defensive centerman. So Carlisle's got a feel to some degree he can he doesn't have to fight the matchup so much as if the other team's going at him with their top line.
Exactly. I mean, he's very, very good in the faceoffs, Bozak. And I think when you take a look at that, Lightning, and we keep talking about, they've had the two very productive offensive lines. And sometimes it's like the Islanders with John Tavares. John Tavares is a very responsible player in his zone as well. So you can't put power against power because of that ability.
I think they figured by now Kadri would have developed into that top line center, but Bozak's still the man. Kucherov in the zone. His pass pinballs back to Holland. And Winnick sends it across for Clarkson. He opened the scoring in this game. Palat hoists one for Tyler Johnson. He had to hold up at the line to make sure he was onside. Daniel Winnick has it back.
I'll tell you, the Leafs have just really worked hard. They've just followed up the Lightning on a consistent basis as soon as they get in the zone.
Well, you have what happened to them, giving up 9 at home after you give up 6 in your previous game. And it really certainly plays to your pride. And here's a shot from the boards, a save by Bernier, and a try by Strawman. And to a man, the Leafs admitted that was a real blow. They were very embarrassed with how things went here the other night, and this is how professional athletes respond.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous defensive job.
Nice play to relay it to Callahan out in front for Stamkos. A wave of Leafs were trailing him to prevent him from getting the pass. Kadri chips it down the boards. Callahan back for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a well thought of play. Just the Leafs did a great job of tying up Stamkos.
Callahan deflects it from his side of center. That results in an icing call.
But Callahan surprised you. He has way more speed than you might think. Watch how he bursts through there, goes right around Phaneuf, spins, and he tries to get there. The pass was behind him, but they had two guys coming back on that play. And you see it right there. And he might have gotten that pass through Santorelli, but they had two guys right there in order to try and deflect it away.
Bozak on for another face-off. Filppula tried to get the jump on him.
The linesman dropped the puck sooner before Bozak still has stick on his knees.
And Kessel takes it. And behind him, Van Riemsdyk. The New Jersey native, checked by Schuster. And Carl takes it for the Lightning. Ahead for Stamkos. Callahan reaching for it. Played back for Bozak. He steps around Gudas with the plays offside. Kessel does not agree with the call, but he was ahead of the play.
Wow. Bozak very, very adeptly missed that check by Gudas at the blue line. Watch here and watch on the right side of your screen. Yes, he was. See that back leg came up? The left leg was in the zone. The back leg came up before the puck completely crossed over that blue line. And that's offside. It has to be completely over the blue line before it's determined that it's in the zone.
Gives you an idea of how the linesmen, how good they are.
Yeah.
And we slow it down to look at it, and they've got it at top speed. We now got a penalty here to Robidoff for getting the elbow up and rubbing it in for good measure on Vlad Namestnikov.
5:21.
Run number 12 minor penalty for elbowing.
Take a look as he comes around there. It comes the elbow right to the head and then grabs a hold of him and pulls him back. Could have had either one, but nonetheless, the Lightning will get just their second power play. They had but 2 shots on the first one. Now's the time where they could really use a power play goal.
Now the veteran takes a penalty, and the Lightning with the door open slightly for them. A Toyota power play opportunity, down 3 goals with 14:39 to go in the third period. Faceoff controlled by the Lightning. Stamkos leaving it on the boards. Nobody there. Polak will send it down the ice. Brett Conley chips it back for Garrison. As Garrison working with Stamkos, Filppula, Callahan, and Conley. Garrison shoots it in. Bernier couldn't do much with it. Dion Phaneuf Chips it up the boards. Nobody there. It's out of the zone. Winnick, an excellent penalty killer, will pressure Garrison. Here comes Stamkos. 4 power play goals in the season. He's one off the lead, set by a number of players, including Tyler Bozak.
One of the things the Lightning have done now, when they've struggled to get the puck in the zone, it's almost like a one-man try to go in, get everything in, instead of working the pack, make the puck work for you. You just can't get in that zone.
Play offside at the Leaf line, bottled up by Trevor Smith, the former member of the Lightning, and the penalty time at 57 seconds.
Give the Leafs credit, though. They're making the plays at the blue line. They're not backing off that blue line. They're forcing the Lightning to either dump it in, because they certainly can't carry it in. They've strung them across there. But when that happens, if you're dumping them in, the players have to be moving their feet so you can get in there quickly. The only guy that's been moving the feet when they dump it in is the guy that dumped it in.
Well, Strawman couldn't grab that puck as Bishop tried to find him. By that time, 2 Leafs were on him. And they'll start the rush once again now with 40 seconds to go on the penalty to Robidoux. Strawman to Kucherov. Komarov over for it. Drouin got it loose. Strawman. Kucherov with Palat in front. The pass got away from Johnson. Just off the stick of Drouin. And it's chopped down the ice by Komarov. Well, that puck bouncing off the stick of Johnson, that's kind of the way this has gone for the Lightning tonight. Here's Johnson getting that pass. Racing in. Continues on. Around to Kucherov. Finds Strawman. Kept at bay by Holland. Out of the box, Robidoux. The Leafs have killed a penalty, protecting a 4-1 lead. Pass across to Matt Carl. Looking for Kucherov. Back of the point to Strawman. Shooting just wide of Bernier. Peter Holland there for it. He'll play it out. Roman Polak on another offensive rush around the net. They drop it back for Holland. He's been reunited with his former junior line mate in Richard Paddock, the ex-Lightning player. They played together in Guelph. Komarov hands it now to Santorelli. 8 minutes gone here in the third. Gardner's try is blockered away by Bishop. Comes down to Holland. He gets a shoulder from Brian Boyle for his efforts. And now Strawman tripped up. Komarov will go. Delayed penalty to the Leafs. And another opportunity for the Lightning. 6 skaters on for Tampa Bay. Trying to mount a rush here. As the puck surrendered, Tampa Bay will have the power play on the other side of this break. They've got a 22-19 shot advantage, but they're down 3 goals.
You're taking a look at Tyler Bozak. We said that the faceoff circle is going to be a key to the game, and it has been, but for Toronto. As you see that, Tyler Bozak, 19 of 25 faceoffs he's won, and that one faceoff win resulted in that power play goal by Van Riemsdyk. And that's our Diamond Performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers. Tyler Bozak, his proficiency at the faceoff circle, or in the faceoff circle, excuse me.
He looks on as Komarov in the box for tripping at 8:30, and the Lightning get their 3rd power play chance. Callahan, Stamkos, Filppula across the front. Conley and Garrison back of the points. Filppula battling to get control, but it's cleared by Holland. Leafs without one of their better penalty-killing forwards in Leo Komarov.
Yeah, he averages about 3:15 of shorthanded time. That's only 3rd on the team.
Here comes Brett Conley into the zone. Swings wide on Phaneuf. Gets a whack. Lobs it through the legs of Callahan. Conley catches up to it. Kept it in the zone to Stamkos. Filppula. Garrison looks toward the net. Finds Stamkos. Now to Filppula. He'll find Conley redirecting it over the net. Just over the right shoulder of Bernier, and Conley didn't get a clean deflection there, Chief, but he almost made it work.
Boy, he tried, and I'll tell you what, he had Bernier fooled. He didn't expect it.
Trevor Smith on a steal for the Leafs. Cuts it. Beats it in front. It's by Santorelli's stick. Santorelli gets it back. Conley now with under a minute to go on the Komarov penalty. Garrison checks his options. Kucherov and Drouin come on this power play from the Lightning bench. Bernier fires it off the glass. It comes down to Johnson. He knocked it down out of the air. Andre Palat battles to maintain control for the Lightning. Palat getting it back to Tyler Johnson. Strawman. Johnson looks toward the net, fires in front, tipped wide by Kucherov. Boy, he was in position there. Franzen tried to check him. Now Johnson had that puck stuck in his shoulder. Here's Strawman winding. Goes to Drouin. Palat has it, pulls the trigger, disrupted from behind by Smith. Fired in front off a Toronto stick. It comes to center. Komarov back on. He steals the puck. He sends it ahead. Here's Kessel shooting, and he sends it wide. Strawman got back there defensively.
Two power plays, Rick, in this period. Lightning have not get a shot on goal.
Leafs survive the shorthanded situations, and still they lead 4-1 with 9:05 to go in the third period.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's high-def highlight brought to you by H.H. Gregg, and it was late in the first period when Alex Killorn broke away shorthanded, fired a quick wrist shot right between the legs of the defender and past the right pad of Bernier to tie this game at 1. So that's our H.H. Gregg high-def highlight. One of the few the Lightning have had in this game.
Lightning and Leafs each won 2 games in the season series last year. The Leafs won the first 2. The Lightning won the last 2, including a 3-0 shared shutout April the 8th, late in the regular season. That was the game where Ben Bishop fell on his left elbow, dislocated it. Anders Lindback finished up the 3-0 shutout. And we showed you highlights from the last visit here in March. Gudas with a big hit on Richard Panik, where Stamkos was the star with a 3-goal effort. Here's Brian Boyle controlling that puck with his skates and his stick. Looks in front, and Morrow walled off by Pulock. Panik throwing it back to the Leaf defense. Pulock will chip it ahead. Here is Richard Panik. High shot is over Bishop. Levo getting to it. Boyle takes it back for the Lightning. Shots only 2-1 Toronto in this third period. We've played almost 12 minutes.
They don't need to shoot the puck. They got a 3-goal lead.
Well, they have played like a team that's on a 6-game winning streak instead of a 3-game losing streak. Here's a pass in front. Bishop, a great save there on Santorelli. Robidas shooting, and that skims off Domestikov, reaches Kadri. He'll feed the point. Here's a try that's wide of Bishop. Came out in front, and Schuster there.
I'll tell you what, the puck retrieval has been great. They've been winning a lot of the battles, too, when there's a one-on-one battle to get that loose puck. So they've really upped their game. You're right about that 9-2 shellacking here by Nashville has really done something for it, because they're playing a very, very solid game here tonight.
Last week at this time, they had gone 6-1-1 in their last 8 games and had beaten the Bruins 6-1 here with 3 power play goals. Then they lose a toughie to the Penguins 2-1. Then get beat 6-2 in Buffalo. Followed up by the 9-2 thrashing. Now we got Johnson and Phaneuf tangled up in that corner. As Branson's got the puck in front of the Toronto net. Ahead for Holland.
They just get into the Lightning zone way too easily. Lightning can't get into the Toronto zone. They're making all the plays at the blue line, but Toronto's been able to get into the Lightning zone with not a whole lot of trouble.
Nikita Kucherov carries the puck in. Nice move to the middle, but right there was Holland. That defensive support for Toronto as the puck rolls back to Bishop. Garrison throws it behind Callahan, and this will result in an icing call. The Lightning in a change, so they got to sort out who is on the ice.
There's a play in the corner with there's a cross check and then a slash, then a hold, then another shot to the head. Then he hangs on to the to the stick right there. You see it right there. Boys will be boys.
Lightning control that face-off. Strawman turns the net. Flips it out to center. Handled by Polak. Bozak coming back. He almost handed it away to Filppula. He works to try to come up with it. His opposite number, Jake Gardiner, canceled him out. The puck comes to center. Gudas comes across for it. Out of Stamkos. He'll keep it on the boards. Under 6 minutes to go here in this third period. Gardiner double teamed. Helped out by Van Riemsdyk. He'll lob it back through center. Brewer works against Kessel one-on-one. Down goes Kessel. And Brewer gets help from Stamkos. Pass out ahead for Filppula. Dropping it for Callahan. Fires across for Gudas. Has to take it off the boards. And he sends it off the stick of Phaneuf. And out of play now as Gudas and Phaneuf come together in that corner. And that brings a lot of folks in there with 5:32 to go here in this third period. And the Leafs maintaining a lead of 4-1.
5:32 remains in regulation. You're looking at Phil Kessel, who hasn't scored tonight, but it's not from a lack of trying. He's had a lot of shots on goal. If you want to take a look, the most goals by an American-born player since 08-09, you see Phil well ahead of Parisi and Bobby Ryan, Pavelski, and Patrick Kane. Four of those guys are all tightly bunched there, but Kessel has a commanding lead. Somewhat like Stamkos over Ovechkin. But Phil Kessel's been a big goal scorer. As you see that, he's a very durable player as well. 384 consecutive games played. That's the 6th longest streak right now. But
I think he's working on a streak of 2 consecutive days talking to the media here locally.
Yeah, he's not a very talkative person when it comes to that, is he? He lets his production on the score sheet do his talking for him. Well, the Leafs have done a tremendous defensive job, I thought, tonight. They've bottled that neutral zone and prevented and their gap control of their blue line has been really, really strong.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Kessel had 37 goals last year to finish among the league leaders. And that was his 5th year of 30 goals plus. So that's pretty consistent production. That's how you get over 200 goals in that span of time. As the puck is worked down the ice and Jason Garrison getting to it. Overskates it as Kessel's right on it. And Strawman under the watchful eye of Kessel and Van Riemsdyk. They're trying to get Van Riemsdyk his 3rd goal to finish the hat trick with a 4-1 lead and 5:10 to go.
And Lightning have pulled Ben Bishop here.
Yep, with the extra skater. And here's the shot that's wide by Van Riemsdyk. And Garrison.
Look at this. Look at the puck retrieval. They've won every single battle out there, taking the puck away, and it's been a very difficult game for the Lightning. The only time they've gotten in the zone is when they dumped it in and nobody's gone to get it.
Bozak had it come out in front. It's tapped to the boards and played back down the boards to Filppula. Chopped away by Phaneuf. Kessel controlling. Bozak cuts away, fires off of Stamkos. Matt Carl picks it up. Callahan will take it. Lightning need to change. Schuster coming on. Joined now by Palat racing into the zone. All this with Bishop in the bench. And over 4 minutes remaining in the third period. The Lightning down 3. The pass in front. Stamkos! Stop! They score! As he follows up. And the Lightning cut it to 4-2 with an empty net behind him and 4:13 to go.
Take a look here. They finally get the puck inside the zone, and you got a defenseman down there. You got everybody forcing it in there. They finally get that quick shot in there, and it came right back out to Stamkos, the rebound, and he puts that puck in on the second opportunity. And they finally get one past Jonathan Bernier. Comes at 15:47. Stamkos is 13th of the year.
Now Bishop back in net with the Lightning will look for the opportunity to get him off again as Carl chips it in. Polak pressured here. Palat involved. Gardiner comes away with it. Bishop had started out. Backs into his crease once again. The Lightning trying to hold that play in. They're able to. Polak will move it up the boards to Komarov, pinching in at Schuster, and worked out by Peter Holland. Carl back for it. Kucherov deflects it in. And Bishop going to the bench. Puck at center ice. Kadri got it loose, but the Lightning swarmed to come up with it. Tyler Johnson playing it into Kucherov, and it hit him in the back. The play's offside. 3:23 left in the third period. Tonight's broadcast code of the game is backhand. Visit lightningfanrewards.com on your phone, computer, or tablet, and enter tonight's code and win points towards awesome gear from Sun Sports. Stamkos is 13th from Kucherov and Palat at 15:47. Palat and Kucherov extend their point streaks to 4 games. Stamkos winding it up. Now as Bishop looking for the chance to get to the bench, and he will step into that bench. Conley comes on as the extra skater. Filppula comes up with a puck in for Callahan. Callahan controlling it, back out to Garrison. Callahan turns, going to feed it through to Strawman. That was broken up by Winnick. Filppula has it to the point to Strawman. Wristing it, deflected, it reached Bernier, skimmed off his pads and just dropped to the side of him. Conley has it. It's it now to Strawman, bounced away. But lost it. Stamkos feeding it back. The shot by Filppula is wide. Stamkos set it. It comes all the way back, and it will miss the Lightning net. Couple of chances there, and they cash in one of them. We got a 1-goal game.
In a panic situation.
Palat steps in for the Lightning, fires, and it's shrugged off by Bernier. Palat gets it back, checked by Francis. Nemestikov gets it. He's occupied by Polak and unable to get that puck to Stamkos. Stamkos in the corner now, in behind a Palat. Feeds it back down the boards for Stamkos. Stamkos with Nemestikov at the goal mouth. Carl up top. Gudas around the horn. Filppula in the corner. Back to Gudas with the wrist shot. Blocked in front. And 2 Leafs there to work it away. Still the Lightning hold it in. Filppula. Branson has it for Toronto. He'll send it out, but this will result in an icing call against the Leafs with 1:34 to go, and the Lightning down 2.
Well, they came close to getting that third goal you talked about, Rick. Take a look at their couple of chances here. There's a shot came in. It went right off the inside of the arm and body of Bernier, just rolled by the goalpost. And then this one here, it just blocked in front right there, just missed the net. Oh, they had a wide open side with that pass when that rebound came out, and they just couldn't find that high side. Leafs have taken a timeout now with that icing with 1:34 remaining here in regulation.
Assistant coach Peter Horacek's got the dry erase board out, diagramming what he wants done here as that crew's staying out there. They get to rest up a little bit and try to get things reorganized, as the Leafs have to be a little scrambled mentally at this point, giving up a goal and still up 2, but they have not been consistently solid in their own zone, and the Lightning are generating some chances here.
Yeah, it's because basically right up for the first 48 minutes, they were solid. Lightning couldn't do anything. And then when Komarov took that penalty around 8:30 of this period, Lightning started to get a little better. And then when they pulled the goalie with over 5 minutes to go, that's when they've had the most zone time against the Leafs in this whole game.
And Van Riemsdyk and Kessel both seem to have chances at that empty net way down at the Lightning end. Lightning win the faceoff. Stamkos fires it back to the corner. Kucherov after it. Garrison down the boards. And around to Filppula. Johnson cycles it to Kucherov. Kucherov gets it out in front. Nobody there. Angled out by Van Riemsdyk. Strawman has it. Cutting through Johnson. By Stamkos' stick. Polak will send it around the boards. Filppula waiting, dropping it. Garrison closely watched by Winnick. Under a minute to go in the third period. Filppula got it back to Garrison. Across for Strawman. Closes it, shoots it. It's blocked by Polak. In behind the net, Kucherov. Finds a man in the slot. Filppula shot blocked by Bozak. Stamkos to Filppula. Firing! Saved by Bernier. Kucherov in front. Push shot knocked down. Another try. Smothered by Bernier. Chances for the Lightning, and the Leafs closing ranks in front of Jonathan Bernier, holding him off with 39.5 to play.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been, they just couldn't get the handle on a couple of times when they've had the open net. There you see it right there. The puck was a kind of a slow roller off the heel of Filppula's stick. Lightning have had a number of shots, 5-on shots they've had since the last power play that they've had. So they've had 5 shots in the last 5 minutes or so.
They had 1 shot for at least 12 minutes of this third period off the faceoff. Down goes Conley, fired away by Polak, and it's by the stick of Garrison. The race is on, and Strawman getting to it. Garrison now hemmed in by Winnick, ahead to Brett Conley. Killorn. A Lightning goal scorer in this game. Backhands it in. It's covered. Bernier got the trapper on that one with 18.9 seconds to go.
Well, that desperation or that intensity has come a little bit too late for John Cooper's club. A lot of that had to do with the Leafs playing so well in the neutral zone and at the blue line, but now when you're up there and you get that goal, they played a little bit more cautiously, but still strong enough not to allow any really good open shots on Bernier.
Polak drives one off the glass by the shoulder of Strawman. Icing the call with 11.6 to play.
Well, just for the second time this year, the Lightning have go down with 2 consecutive defeats. The last time they lost in that shootout to Chicago, they picked up a point there, but then losing at home to San Jose.
Well, this will be 2 regulation losses unless they can. Well, it's not going to happen. It's bounced into the net. And the empty net goal for the Leafs reestablished the 3-goal lead at 5-2.
1952, I believe it's Polak that just, again, it was the result of Bozak winning a faceoff. See that? And he just knocked it down the ice. So Bozak will get his second assist of the game and another faceoff win. He's just was so dominant in that faceoff circle tonight.
Polak's 3rd goal of the season. So the Lightning will suffer consecutive 5-2 losses against the Islanders and against the Leafs. Jonathan Bernier now 3-0 in his career against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the shots end up 28-21 Lightning, with most of those coming late in the third period. We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment.